Hi guys, thanks for watching. In today's video, we're going to talk about should you put God above family members or should you put family members above God and why you should make a decision. Let's do it. First of all, this is a very complex decision for a lot of people to make because they obviously have emotional ties to their family members, but they also know that their belief system is very important. So what happens when you have a family member, maybe a mother, maybe a father, who is doing something which is against your belief system fundamentally? That's a very difficult situation to put in. Do you bring it up and say, "Hey mom, hey dad, you're doing this wrong," and put them right? And say, "Hey, God says you should do it this way. My religion says you should do it that way." Do you do that? Or do you simply let it go and not correct them at all and let them maybe go astray? Or do you just basically disconnect from these people and say, "You know what, I can't cope with this stuff anymore. I'm letting you go. I'm cutting off ties because we have gone two separate paths." First, I think it's very important that you put God first in your relationship. God comes above everything. The reason why is that look around you right now. Everybody in your life is going to leave you one way or another. It may be until death you depart. It may be that they just go off and do their own thing. It may be they just stop talking to you and ghost you for whatever reason. But one day, everything physical is going to leave you. And you're going to be left with one person. That one person is God. That's it. So who are you answerable to? You're answerable to God. Yes, even above your spouse. If your spouse is doing bad things that go against your belief system, you should correct your spouse. Yeah, you're not going to have some very good family time in the house, shall we say, if you go around correcting your spouse. But at the end of the day, if you don't make that correction, what's going to happen? You're going to have an unhappy marriage. You can have pent up feelings. You can have these bad vibes going around, all that kind of stuff, because it's just you need to get it out. I think also there has to be a certain buffer there, shall we say? Like you don't have to exactly follow, the word of God to the letter kind of thing. But if your spouse is doing something outrageously bad, like drugs, alcohol, gambling, we know all the stuff which people shouldn't be doing, and it's causing a problem in their life. It is your duty as somebody who loves them to step in and say, "Hey, you know what? You're not doing this right." I was several years ago now at a father's funeral. It wasn't the guy that died, it wasn't the father that died, it was his son that died. He was burying his son. And it's usually, I hate to say it, the same old story. They don't correct the situation early on, they let it go. In this case, it was a drug-related death. I'm not going to mention any names, but it was a drug-related death. The person started to get better. It's all the same story. Oh, he's getting better. He's on the clean, all this kind of stuff. And then, one day, bam, get an email from the church. Hey, we need people to attend this poor guy's funeral because this poor guy's son just died. I call it his funeral, but really his son died. And he needed moral support there from the church. Hate to see it, but he could have stepped in a lot earlier and done a lot more and corrected things earlier, because if you don't correct things early on in the life of someone you love, it gets bad. It may be a case of that you have to actually physically stop them from doing something. Look at my past life bad decisions that I've made, shall we say. If someone had physically stopped me, pulled me aside and told me to calm down, get my ducks in a row, and just made me smell up and wake the coffee, I probably wouldn't have made the stupid decisions I made. Because honestly, me personally, I made a lot of stupid decisions in my 20s. I won't go into details of them, but yeah, I made a lot of dumb decisions. And I had wished, for all things holy, that someone would have taken me aside in my 20s and said, stop doing that, even if it means physically restraining me and locking me in my room or something. I don't really care at that point, because they were thinking of me. They were thinking of improving my life and preventing my life from going off the rails. What I'm getting to in this is always put God first. Always put God's teachings first. And if someone is doing something which you know is going to end in a bad outcome for that person, you could either save their life or save them a heck of a lot of heartache if you put them right. And if you can't put them right, what happens if you try everything? You try everything. You try everything and nothing's working. Then at that point, yes, I think it's acceptable to cut off communication. Especially if it's affecting your life. I have this saying that we have to do what cancer doctors do. If we have someone in our life who is toxic, who is basically cancerous to our lives, what do? Well, rather than it spreading and impacting our life and the lives of our friends and the lives of other family members, it's a good idea to cut that person out. Remove the cancer cells from your life, essentially. Cut that person out completely, because they're going to be toxic. And some people are toxic by the way they phrase things. They'll phrase things like, "You're not going to do that, are you?" and stuff like that. Well, they kind of, if you think about it, when they say these things, they're tainting the conversation. They're saying they're answering your question while they're asking the question. And when people do that in life, it's really just toxic nonsense. And you don't really want to deal with those people. If you're in doubt with what you should do, first thing you should do is talk to God. And you can do that anytime you want. You can do it driving in a car. You can do it if you want to do it in church. You can do it in church. If you need some real spiritual advice, you can go talk to a pastor. A pastor's also going to take time to talk to you. There's one person in this life, in this world, that's going to give you time to talk to you. Your church. That's their job. As basically, spiritual counselors, essentially, is they will take time to talk to you if you need help. And sometimes we all need help in our world. Sometimes we all need help in our lives, because sometimes we all get led astray. But the most important thing is to put God above all else, because God is going to be with you for your whole entire life, no matter what. Everybody else and everything else, possessions and people, are going to leave you at some point. And you're going to be left with one person to answer to. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Click down there, like, share, and subscribe.